Hello, did you know that if you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head? But if you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. With that said, I am Agnes Ugeto, the CEO of Dubs Company, and I'll be giving you a quick guide to a successful conference when you'll be coming to Dubai. Let's look at Dubai. Dubai is one of the countries in the United Arab Emirates. Their official language is Arabic, and people from Dubai are referred to as the Emirati people. So if you hear me mention the Emirati people, no, I'm referring to people from Dubai. Currently, the temperature is at 38 degrees Celsius. We'll also be comparing our culture against the culture of people in the United Arab Emirates, where Dubai belongs. With this pictorial representation of a graph, blue represents Canada and purple represents United Arab Emirates. With power distance, Dubai has a high power distance because they value formality. They put more importance on formality. With individualism, they're less individualistic. It's because they value collectivism and working together as a community for a common cause. With masculinity, they're less masculine than we are because they prefer modesty and they prefer cooperation and caring for the weak in the society. They have a high uncertainty avoidance, as you can see, because they put more emphasis on following rules and conforming to societal norms. Therefore, this presentation will give you insight on what the Emirati culture entails and what is expected of you when you come here during the conference. We'll be looking at intercultural communication, business etiquette and work culture, social etiquette, dress, and customs. Let's look at communication. With greetings, as we look at greetings, when you greet people here, always start with the most senior person in the room. You have to do your assignment to know who is the most senior person in terms of position in their business or in terms of position in the country or culture. Maybe they can be the chief. Make sure you do that assignment to understand who is the most senior and greet them first. That shows respect because they're a high power country. And additionally, handshakes are very common here and they can last for long. Don't find that weird. However, a man cannot shake an Emirati woman's hand unless she consents you to do so. It's actually considered culturally unacceptable if you stretch out your hand as a man to greet an Emirati woman without her consent. With conversations, when you address somebody, make sure you use their title. If it's John Doe, make sure it's Mr. John Doe or Sheikh John Doe. And avoid dominating conversations. Avoid interrupting them. Sometimes they take time. They can be stuck in between. Give them time to think and come up with what they want to tell you. Don't interrupt them and tell them actually or fill in the gaps. Allow them to converse as how they want. And short silence is common here, and that shows that they're thinking of the answer they're going to give you. So don't interrupt it. Don't interpret it as awkward. With body language, smiling and laughing should be done with discretion. Here, when somebody smiles a lot or laughs a lot, it's considered that they are untrustworthy. So don't laugh at a joke so much or don't smile for no reason. As a sign of politeness, always stands up when somebody walks into the room, except for the helper maid. Anybody else who walks into a room, always stand up as a sign of respect. And it's very considered rude to sit when the sole of your shoe is facing somebody or up. So make sure when you sit, don't cross your legs as we used in our culture. Put your legs down, put the sole of your feet facing the floor. Don't make it face somebody else. Holding hands is common here among men. You might ask the venue of the conference, and an Emirati man can hold your hand and lead you directly to the door of the conference room. Don't find that weird. It doesn't have the same connotation as it does back home. And if you're nervous, don't fidget or don't make a fist. That is considered aggressive. Sit relaxed. Hold your take your right hand and hold your left, the wrist of your left hand, and relax. With eye contact, it varies among people. Always read their body language. There are people who prefer strong eye contact as a sign of respect, and there are people who feel like when you gaze away a little bit, it shows politeness. Always read their body language when you're speaking to them. And do not receive or offer anything with your left hand. The left hand is used for hygiene purposes, and when you use it to give somebody something or receive something from someone, that shows that you disrespect them and you consider them as lesser of their position. So do not ever use your left hand to receive or give something. With business etiquette and work culture, it's good for you to give gifts. They love gifts, but do not give gifts that are made from alcohol or pork or shellfish. Always make sure that your gift is something that is not from alcohol, pork, or shellfish. Always give your business card with your right hand, not your left hand. As we had discussed earlier, it's more respectful to use your right hand. Exercise patience in meetings. People can walk in, walk out, speak, answer their phones, message in the meeting. It's very common here, but they're actually paying attention. So exercise patience. And during business transactions, decision making can be slow because they have to consult formal channels. So be patient also. It's also considered rude to be pushy. Allow them to make decisions by themselves or accept a point or opinion by themselves. And Emiratis are not direct in their conversations. They may not say yes or no directly. So always ask open-ended questions and study their body language to see what they mean. With social etiquette, dress and customs, for men it's preferably you dress in dark colors and wear a suit with a tie. That is considered very appropriate here. So make sure you dress appropriately. And for women, always put on something that is below your knee. Don't expose your hands or your cleavage. Always put that into consideration when dressing. And when an Emirati person approaches you and tells you that you haven't dressed well, make sure you go back to your room politely and change into something appropriate. And do not wear the country's national clothing unless you're invited to do so or unless you go out on a safari. But otherwise, do not dress on their traditional clothing without consent. Public display of affection is forbidden here. Do not practice that. It can mean to a high it's not really respectful here. It's illegal to also take photos, and when you want to take photos here in the conference, always make sure you get consent, because Emirati women are not supposed to be taken photos of at any circumstance. So to summarize, understand how Emirati people communicate, know what they consider as appropriate business etiquette and work culture, adopt appropriate social etiquette, and know what is considered as modest dress code. That way, your conference will be successful. If you want more resources to understand the Emirati culture, you can click these links here, right here, and get to learn more. Thank you so much.